Привет. И привет от Zoe. Это моя кошка, Zoya. So let's talk about dative verbs of communication. So verbs of communication, to talk to someone, to call someone, to answer someone. These are verbs that in Russian will require a dative object. We've been learning so far that most objects in Russian are accusatives, if they're a direct object. So from a sort of one-to-one point of view, which we don't like, that doesn't really work because these require a dative object. They require someone in the dative case. So let's look at some examples of why. We've got звонит, позвонит. Отвечать, ответить. So to phone, to call someone. To answer someone. Советовать, посоветовать. To advise someone, which by the way is an ovat verb, so conjugates with the oi. Советуют, советую, советует. Ovat verb, like танцевать. But to advise someone. Помогать, помочь. To help someone. Говорить, сказать. To say something to someone. So these all require something dative. Whoever you're talking to is going to be in the dative case, not accusative. This might seem illogical, but if you really think about calling to someone, maybe that will help you remember to use the dative case and not the accusative. Let's look at some examples of the dative versus accusative object example. So we've got two here. First one is one that we're more familiar with. Amanda любит Женю. So here, Zhenya is our direct object, and his name is in the accusative case, just like ones that we've seen all along. Here we've got our new verb of communication, or verb of helping, whatever, however you want to call it. Amanda is helping Zhenya. And instead of the accusative case, we've got dative. Amanda помогает Жене. Женю, Zhenya. So you can see that there are grammar clues in the sentence that will help you decide what type of verb you need, whether it's one of these regular verbs or a new communication verb. Because, as you know, we like fill-in-the-blank exercises on quizzes and homeworks and tests and stuff like that. So you will need to decide between a verb of communication and a regular verb that takes a direct object in the accusative case. So how do you do that? Well, let's look at an example here. Maybe you have two sentences. One is Caitlin something преподавателя. One is Caitlin something преподавателю. What cases do we have going on here? So преподаватель is the nominative, the dictionary form. Преподавателя could be genitive. More likely it's accusative because it's coming right after a verb. How about this one? It is dative. Yes, dative. So based on what we know from the grammar endings, from the case endings, we know that here we're going to need one of our new dative verbs of communication. So if you have in your word box these two verbs, отвечает and видит, we know that whichever one is the verb of communication is going to go in our second sentence down here. So which one of these is a communication verb? Yeah, this guy, отвечает. So, Caitlin отвечает преподавателю. Caitlin видит преподавателя. Caitlin sees the professor. So using these types of little grammar hints will help you do those fill-in-the-blank exercises that I know you guys all love so much on tests and quizzes and homework and all that stuff. And be sure to remember, verbs of communication require dative, not accusative.